When we lived there, I didn't know what Allendale was. I just knew our street. And the kids I played with were white, African American, Lebanese, and Italian, I think. And we all played together, and there was a grocery store down at the end, and every day one person would go down there to see if they got any more bubble gum. So, it was just, nobody cared what color you were, what religion you were. We just all played together.
It was a thriving community. The people were together. From what I can see, the people were together. They had cleaners, they had their own body shops, they had their own restaurants, they had their own tailors, they had their own printing shops. The community was a thriving community. They were together.
In the early 70s, it was thriving. It had everything in it. Cleaners, barbershops, gas stations, restaurants, the whole thing.
Well, it's just like LSU is important. It's educating people to make decisions in the future and what will happen to make it a better community. When we're going through grammar school, junior high, high school, we study history. This is a physical example of our local history.
As far as some of the most popular musicians that you hear about being connected to Allendale, I think in the earliest time period, early around 1900, shortly thereafter, Huddie Ledbetter, or Huddie Ledbetter, appears on the scene, also known as Leadbelly. He has stories about visiting that neighborhood, from growing up outside the city, coming to town, seeing what entertainment was like in Shreveport, what music was like in Shreveport. He was basically a teenager at the time. He tells stories about hearing people play pianos down in Allendale, and this is largely the city's red light district that he's visiting. And this is a pretty formative experience for him. He sings a song that he records multiple times throughout his career as a musician about specifically traveling from home to visit Allendale, to take it all in, see what the neighborhood had to offer, see what music was like in the area, the people he interacted with at that time. And another part of the song is his mother not wanting him to go. So that's one of the early people that I think about when I think about musicians from Allendale. And when you follow that in sort of a linear timeline fashion, some of the other people that begin to pop up, I think about the guitarist Oscar Woods, who interacted with a man who became governor of Louisiana, Jimmy Davis. And Oscar Woods and Ed Schaefer were two black guitarists that worked with Jimmy Davis, a white man who's a politician. And those are some really interesting recordings where you hear all three of them coming together to make songs. You get a sense of what Jimmy Davis would have been exposed to sort of through the lens of Black Shreveport and the music of Oscar Woods and Ed Schaefer. I guess what I think about related to music in Allendale as it moves through time is that it's largely representative of the black music experience in the country, whether it's blues, jazz, gospel, soul, rhythm and blues, hip hop. I mean, you can find examples, traces of these genres as it connects to the neighborhood, basically through the decades. It's just this sort of microcosm of what black music is like in the United States. I mean, largely as you see the population move away from the neighborhood or be forced out of the neighborhood. That when you don't have as many people there, you don't have as much of a sharing of ideas, as much of this sort of just cultural exchange.
I looked at the question, everything really in a story is who, what, when, where, why, and how. So I asked those questions to Google. Why would a city build a highway right through the middle of it? And what are the benefits to the city? What's good about it? And what I kept finding was that since 1994, cities had basically started removing inner city highways because they were horrible for the economy, not only of the neighborhood, but of the city itself. And as I began to dig into that deeply, paper after paper that I found from universities said it's not a good idea and ought to stop. Highway expansion's bad. And that was like, for instance, UC Davis's Transportation Institute in California was saying highways through cities, they don't belong there. All of a sudden, all of that sort of clicked together for me, and I could see how bad I-49 had been for Shreveport. We used to be the 50th largest city in the United States with a much bigger population than we have today. And coincidentally, we built 49 through Cedar Grove in the southern part of the city, but I didn't connect the two until I understood about how building a highway through your city is like driving a stake through the heart of the city, and it kills all the surrounding tissue, and eventually the city dies like the body would. So
When we came to Shreveport, we came by way of Hurricane Katrina in 2005. Not sure if we were going to be returning to New Orleans or not. So one day I was approached by, I think he was a commissioner then, or a representative, saying, hey, a freeway is coming through here. I said, a freeway? I'm like, why would they build all these houses over here if a freeway is coming through? I was lost, But that's how I became a community activist.
But you see what Allendale Strong is doing today to challenge the transportation planning machine or the transportation industrial complex at a technical level with some financial support to hire a consultant to expose just the flaws that our cities and our leaders have been victimized by in their decision making that has created more harm than good through transportation. Well, the history is maybe the first thing, is that preserving that history and building on it. And, when we look at Allendale, we include Ledbetter Heights.
It is rich history. It's something to be seen. It's something to be worked on. And that's why I'm still standing there for Allendale, because if we just think about what it was, we can make it even better now.
My name is Michael Jackson. I'm 13 years old and I go to CMU.
My name is Andrea Carver.
My name is Zakori.
Colby Clark.
Shamorji.
My name is Ravens Davenport.
I decided to research the churches of Allendale.
I researched on Community Renewal.
My research was about friendship houses and Community Renewal.
I learned a lot about the businesses in Allendale this year.
We learned a lot about the past, how everything started.
I looked into Galilee Baptist Church and Antioch Church.
I learned that the population was very diverse. Like you had lots of African Americans, whites, you had Italians, Germans, Asian Americans, Jews, and all types of cultures. It was fun to learn about because I never knew that Shreveport has so much hidden history.
I'm interested in friendship houses because I recently just moved into them.
And what do you think about it? Like, do you think they help the community?
Yeah, I think it's a big opportunity because most kids be in the streets, and after school programs, that'll help them stay out the streets and be in something good.
And do you think it works? Like, you live in a friendship. Do you think it works?
Yes, it actually does.
Get better police officers.
Need more police because some police are getting killed out there. And so, more relationship with people. I think it can need more relationship, like good relationship.
I would like more money in the government so we can improve the city and improve the city. We have this community because I know Shreveport doesn't have the money to, in some areas doesn't have the money to improve. So if we can get if we get an opportunity to get money and improve things we so desperately need to, that's like one thing I would like for Shreveport to do.
If you could think of one thing that you would do, anything to make the city better, what would you do?
Be the change.